Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here as ever for today's video all about how to pass your upcoming Management Accounting ACCA examination. That's the MA or F2 paper. My name is James, and if this is the first time you've visited my channel, I help out ACCA and accounting students around the world pass their examinations, and all of our videos and the channel itself is 100% student-led. So if you've got any questions or queries you'd like me to answer, make sure you leave me a comment at the bottom because I answer them all, and that is what the videos are based on. And we always give shout outs, and today is no different. So, Lava, as you can see from my fantastic editing down there, Lava kindly left me a lovely message saying, can you tell me how to clear the F2 Management Accounting paper easily and the study tips? Well, Lava, in this video, I'm going to take you through all of the free resources that are available to you on ACCA's website that I'd be using if I had to try and pass, again, the Management Accounting exam, whether that be tomorrow, next week, next month. These are all the free resources that I'd be using if I was in your shoes. If you are visiting my channel for the first time and you'd like access to all my free materials, all you need to do is subscribe at the bottom so you don't miss out on any free uploads that I share from my experiences and insights. And as ever, if you find the video helpful, make sure you share it with another ACCA student or study buddy to help them out. These are the things that I'd like to be made aware, and it would have helped my ACCA journey a lot. And as ever, make sure you give the video a massive thumbs up and like so more ACCA students and accounting students around the world can see and access the free content. I really appreciate the support, so thank you very much. Right, make sure you got a pen and paper at the ready. Get comfy. I'm going to walk and talk you through all the key resources. If you click the link in the description for this video, it's going to take you directly to the actual main screen that I'm going to go to on ACCA's website. So get comfy, and I'm going to walk and talk you through. On 3 and 2 and 1 and go. Okay then, so if you've clicked the link in the description for this video, as I said, it's going to bring you on to the Management Accounting, that's the MA and F2 paper, directly on ACCA's website. And this is where, from their study support resources, these are definitely some areas that I would be using if I was in your shoes. Now, as I said, pen and paper at the ready. I'm just going to walk and talk you through all of the key elements. And of course, the most important place to start is always the pass rates. So what it means here is that in June 2021, 68% of students who sat the exam passed the exam. Or in other words, for every 100 students that sat the exam, 68 passed. So, I mean, give or take, it's around 2/3 of students actually pass this exam, give or take on there, maybe 7 out of 10, depends the way you look at it. But in other words, the free resources that we're going to be going through today will definitely help you to become in those 2 out of 3 students that pass this exam on here. So starting from the top, I mean, these are the first key elements. And again, make sure you get your pen and paper at the ready to note down actionable points to go away from today. Because the first one is here to go and have a look at actually on ACCA's website to watch that video. Really helpful on there, gives you a nice little breakdown of the actual module. But another key essential area that is really overlooked by students, I feel as well, is this actual essentials on one page. Now, of course, being a professional video recorder, obviously I prepared one that I downloaded earlier. And here it is, and it's all on one page. This is really going to be helpful if you're completely new to management accounting, completely new to ACCA, and probably you might have even had an exemption from the previous exam, and this could be your first one. It's a really clear and concise PDF of everything you can expect on your management accounting exam. So starting first of all on the left-hand side, the actual overview. This is really helpful to understand the key terms, as you can be tested on absolutely any element within the syllabus. And it really highlights some of the key terminology in there, the actual topics as well, which we'll cover on the syllabus later. And as I said, all of these are absolutely key elements. I'm on the side here of your screen. All the important information is in the middle. So if you're going to download these, jot them down. I'm going to take you through some of the key elements now. So the actual costing and accounting techniques, the standard costing, control, planning, all of these are your key elements on here that I've seen some students who have actually set up specific folders for each of those, so that if they saw or had any queries or had any areas that maybe they wanted to reflect on and go back to, then they would actually go back to these again and put any queries they had under that folder, so it keeps it nice and clear for them. The actual steps to success over here, study the whole syllabus, is so key, because that links into the actual layout of the exam. So they have 35 objective test questions on there, which are multiple choice, true and false. You've got different options. In other words, you need to know the facts about management accounting. It's 70 marks, 70% of the exam. That is really critical and key. And if you don't know the keys, you don't know the syllabus inside in, inside out, then you're going to be the 1 in 3 that actually fail this exam, in my opinion. You've got to answer all of the questions on there, but you've got to ensure that you're competent with the computer-based exam environment and systems. We're going to be coming on to those later, along with the specimen exams. And then also these key resources down here, the actual practice exams and technical articles. If you hover your mouse on it, over it like that, as you can see, it breaks it down. It'll actually take you directly to where the technical articles are. So again, another really helpful resource. Maybe you want to put that down in one of your actionable points to go and download this document and see what is in there. Some of those are going to come out in the rest of the video as well, so make sure you stick around to the end to go through it. Now, for your notes on here, the actual section B 30 marker, you have 3 10-mark questions, and look on here, get this written down that each MTQ, okay, on here, will examine budgeting, standard costing and performance management syllabus areas. So the external examiner here is telling you what areas are going to come up in one area of this exam. So you'd be a fool to actually not have a look at this and to analyse those particular areas. I'll show you where to find them in the syllabus later on. And they're all scenario based. You need to really read and understand the question correctly, because again, students who do particularly bad on section B don't answer the requirement, are not particularly sure on what they're actually being asked to do, and they actually rush through it and allocate too much time to section A. So time management is another key critical factor on this. If you haven't already watched my video on how to pass this exam, I'd highly recommend you put that as a note to go and watch it after this video. But overall, the approach to actually completing it, really nice breakdown there on the PDF. I would highly recommend that you go and check that out on there. So that's all the essentials on one page. That will be one of my first places to start off. Then, next of all, we've got the examining team guidance. And again, you've got a nice little breakdown on here. Now, I know it says F2 and FMA. This is the actual, that was back in 2015 when this exam was called F2. So F2 is the same as MA. And you've got the actual structure for the exam. So if you're completely new to it, go and have a look at that in a bit more detail. But this is the next key PDF, and make sure you read the most up-to-date examiner's report. So at the time of this video, it was August 2020. And what you're going to get is a document like this. But don't worry, I've already analysed the actual document for you. There is a video for it on the channel as well. So make sure you go and check it out. It's fully analysed. It goes through all of those aspects. And again, it breaks down section A, section B, what you can expect, and the type of questions that you have on here. So what I would recommend is you actually go through the questions yourself, actually try them, see how you get on, and read it through, trying to actually apply real life examples on there. And you go, well, how would I actually get on if I just had to do these example questions myself right now? And the other benefit of this, plus you've got the recording, is that it tells you the answer, and then it tells you why the answer is correct, and then why students put other incorrect answers. So it's a really good way of understanding the syllabus a lot better, and the actual level of detail within an actual examination. So you've got everything on there from graphs, true and false, different allocations. Then you come on to section B on here, and for each of the, so section B contains 3 questions from each of the syllabus areas C, D and E. So I'm going to show you in this video where it comes up in the syllabus as well, so that you can actually pick out and analyse the areas. And that nicely breaks it down as to more advice at the bottom, studying the whole syllabus, practicing as many questions as possible. The little things on here which I found from reviewing it myself was the amount of small little mistakes that you can make by not reading the requirement properly, and then not identifying from the answers which ones cannot be possibly right, and then spending too much time, as you can see on here, on difficult questions. So taking too long. Remember, you can always come back, flag the question, and then that'll help you out in the long run. So that is there for the examiner's report. Again, I'd definitely get that down in your actual revision notes for something to spend some time on. Now, we've alluded to already areas of the syllabus, and the key thing on here is to actually have a look through this PDF. It is so underused in my eyes, but if you actually go on to the most recent one, so up to August 2022, and lo and behold, you'll find a lovely document like this. And if you go through it, it's got all of the key elements, and because management accounting is one of the first exams in your ACCA journey to qualification, I'd highly recommend you actually go through this in a lot more detail. I'm just going to make sure that you go through all of the key aspects, but if you are really struggling as to say, well, what's it all sort of about, I want to understand what ACCA is a bit more, and the actual number of hours and the structure of the qualification. Also, if you're entitled to the actual ACCA diploma on there, you've got lots of ideas and areas that will break it down from the structure and then the actual topics that could come up. So this is where also how management accounting flows into other actual exams. So you must do the management accounting exam before you move on to, say, the performance management one. So I've done a video on this as to say what is the best way of doing all of the exams. So again, make sure you check that out. It is definitely going to help you out. Now, coming on to the actual overall syllabus now, and this is where you've got to make a note down of this, because we've already touched on some of the areas that could potentially come up. And this is where they were making reference to C, D, E and F on there for section B. So these are the things upon completion of the exam. In section A, you could get tested on all of them there from A to F, and then C, D and E are the key ones there that could come up in section B. So just to get noted down, and then this is a lovely overview sheet of the syllabus that I would, if you can, get it printed off to say that before the examination, check off all of them one by one to say, James, am I confident on data analysis or cost accounting techniques, so that no matter what type of question comes up, you have a good understanding that you can apply some knowledge to it, because it's just not going to be black and white to say, tell me what absorption costing is. It's going to say, well, which of the following are a cost that would be associated with absorption costing versus marginal costing. It'd be something on those lines that you actually have to apply it to. But again, I'll show you that later with some more practice questions. And finally, you actually have the actual detailed study guide at the end here, which goes into it in a lot more detail. But let me just show you how it all works, because I get questions on this all the time. So look on here for section A, you've got the nature, source and purpose of management information, and then you've got accounting for management. Now if you go up here, there's section A, the nature, source and purpose of management information. There you've got accounting for management. But what it does now is saying, well, you've got points A to G on there is absolutely everything you need to be aware of for that area of the syllabus. So really, really helpful. Yes, it is a few pages on here because it is detailed. That's one of the reasons for it. But go have a look at it in your own time. These are going to be the key areas that you could possibly be tested on in section B. So again, it's up to you. It's a case of it's breaking it all down for you to say you have to be confident in all of these areas. And if you are, you're going to be having a very good chance in being in the 2 in 3 that will pass this exam. And if you scroll down to the bottom as well, this is where you actually have any changes to the actual syllabus on here. So if you're doing the MA or the FMA paper, so if you're going through the foundation paper on here, this nicely breaks down any new up-to-date areas that you need to be aware of from sources of data, and potentially on here you've got new learning outcomes. So just to be aware of, so you get a nice little breakdown. But go in, have a look at this document in a bit more detail in your own time, and that will definitely help you out and be one of the key resources I'd be referring to help me to pass the management accounting exam. Now, as this is one of the first examinations you're likely to do, if you do actually need any maths and English support on here, maybe English isn't your first language, or like myself, I wasn't particularly that good at maths, so it's a case of there are plenty of little resources on here that you can have a bit more detail on. I'm not going to go through it in the video now, it's just to make you aware that, again, just understanding the questions, what the requirement is asking for, is a critical exam technique to help you pass on there. So that takes you through the actual getting started. Then you have the resources on here for learning and revision. So as you go onto here, you've actually got practice tests, and you've got another little video that you can play from ACCA directly. But at the bottom here, you actually have other computer-based examination tests, because you can sit this exam on demand, and it's a case of, I'd highly recommend actually purchasing some of these directly from ACCA, so they'll be up to the relevant standards. But the key thing I would recommend here is to get down in your notes. This is really important, because at the end of these tests, it tells you which area of the syllabus you need to revisit. So you need to be doing these after you've been through the study text, or when you've completed your tuition. That is where you're going to see the most amount of value. I'd probably be doing these after I'd completed a few practice questions as well, which we'll come on to with the actual specimen paper. So again, another good resource on there for the practice tests that I would be recommending you have a look at. I did allude on there to the specimen exams, and as you can see down here, it's nicely broken down. You will need to download the Adobe Reader, so make sure you do that as well, so it's compatible with your actual system. But it's this link on here, which again, so many students miss out on this, that you have on here an MA full exam and an MA extra MTQ questions as well. So that's linking into section B. And as you can see on here, it goes through just like the actual exam process. So you'd follow it through on here, all the way through, same exact system. And then as you go down here, click next, and then it will start the exam as if it was a real one with the time going down, and then you start answering all the questions. So if it was me, I would definitely be doing this practice question on there, along with the extra questions they have provided. Definitely get that written down to add it to your revision list. The next thing we have on here are these technical articles now. And I'd be using these as a case of, well, if I'm reviewing and going through my study text and I'm attempting questions, and perhaps I did a question on ratio analysis, maybe I got it wrong on there, I didn't have a particularly good understanding of overhead absorption, well then what I'd do is, one, I'd refer to my actual study text, and then secondly, I'd come and have a look on the actual technical articles on ACCA's website directly, and then read them through and make sure I gained a better understanding, so that when I re-attempted the question, or if I got a question on cash budgets or process costing in the exam, I knew and I had better knowledge that I could apply to it. And again, a better chance of actually picking up on those little marks that can be the difference in getting you into the 50 plus. There are also support videos and the syllabus updates, exam techniques down here from other students. So make sure you have a look through these little guides. Again, other free resources that are so underused and usually not actually found by the students as well. So make the most of it, put it in your actual revision checklist to have a go through. Now, the next thing on here, again, overlooked by so many management accounting students, is the actual formula sheets and the actual tables that you're given in the exam. So this is to benefit you, it's to help you out. These are to your advantage, that you've got to think to yourself, why would they give me these formulae and maths tables? And again, you download it on the side here, but obviously I've pre-prepared one earlier, and you've got everything from regression analysis, economics formulas on there, you've got variances, the present value tables, where we have to discount potential cash flows on there. But you need to be aware, and I'd have it down in your notes, that if you got a question on any of these where the actual formulas would need to be used, I'd make sure I've actually had to go as an example, that I can apply all of these different formulas. In other words, why on earth would ACCA put these formulas in if they weren't going to test them? So it's to your advantage to do some practice questions on this, and it was definitely going to help you out. And there are still so many students who actually don't use the formula sheet in the exam, which I find crazy, or they're not aware of it. So just to be aware, make sure you pop it down, spend some time on there, and if you've got a regression question, which I've seen before, you are definitely going to have a better chance of picking up on those easy marks. Now, coming on to the final bit, and we've got the actual frequently asked questions on here. These are all the ones that if ACCA get a certain number of questions from management accounting students, and especially if you're new to ACCA, new to this exam, maybe this is the first video you've watched, I'd definitely be going through all of these different areas. It's definitely going to help you out to get a better understanding of management accounting, and it's also going to feed into other examinations. That's why it's really key that you get a good core understanding of this. So again, you just scroll down, have a look through them all. I'll leave for you to have a look through in your own time, but you can just click the links up here and it will take you directly to the questions. So nice and easy on there. Now, there are other resources on here, again, which are very, very helpful. It's going to help you out as you go through, especially if you're not from an accounting background now, or maybe you've not had much exposure to accounting. This is where you actually have the courses on here that you can gain extra and other valuable skills. Now, you see on here, we've got management accounting. This is going to help you out 100% with your management accounting exam, but potentially you've never even experienced much accounting. Maybe you've not even started working in a firm yet. You're just doing the first couple of exams to see if you like it or not. Now, this is actually $89 on here. But if you actually scroll down to the bottom and then you go down to the actual free courses on here. So again, nice courses, all verified by ACCA, and you go all the way down. That's the management accounting course that it linked us to. But if you go to the introduction one on here, so this is back to basics. This is self-paced. You can do it over 6 weeks. They've got it on here, 5 to 8 hours per week. It's a really credible resource, and it is free as well. So make the most of it. 41,000 have already enrolled on the actual session. So again, if I was completely new to ACCA, completely new to accounting, and completely new to this whole process of what management accounting is, I would definitely be undertaking this course. And again, if you want to have a look at the link up there, you can copy and paste it over. So that's the ACCA X course I'd recommend. And then as you can see just below it, getting ready for the management accounting exam. And again, more free resources available to you. It's an hour long on demand, so it's not live or anything on those lines. It's backed by ACCA on here, by the Education Liaison Manager. All you need to do is just put in your details of your name, last name, email on there, and it's just to help you out with the CBE tips and guidance, walking and talking you through the actual webinar that is going to assist students in studying management accounting. So in other words, if you have the management accounting exam, I would highly, highly recommend for you to sign up for that webinar and of course watch it as well. Definitely going to help you out. So all in all, if you go through all of those PDFs, have a look at the courses and attempt them along with the actual webinars and other videos available, in my eyes, you are going to be really pushing along with all the practice questions and computer-based examination practice. You've got a really good chance of getting into the 2/3 that pass the management accounting, the F2 ACCA exam. I hope you found that helpful, but before we end, let's head back to the main screen. 3, 2, 1, go! Well, Lava and everyone else who's got the ACCA Management Accounting exam coming up, I hope you found that really, really helpful. Those are the free resources that I'd be using if I was in your shoes. That could be the difference in getting you that 50 plus and passing your F2 or MA exam. If you did find the tips and insights and the video helpful, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up and like below. I really appreciate the support, so thank you again so much for that. And also make sure you actually share this video with any other ACCA students who you know, because going through these free resources, you know directly they are definitely going to help them out to give them that better chance of passing their exam. And as ever, if you'd like access to all my free materials, and why wouldn't you? I mean, they're all free. It's all good. All you need to do is just subscribe and hit the button at the bottom and leave me any comments for future videos you would like me to actually cover. That's the whole point of the channel itself. Well, finally, I can just say is best of luck ahead of your actual management accounting exam. I really hope the tips help. Fingers crossed for you. And if you put these into practice along with all of your other revision, this is definitely going to help. As a final treat, that could be the little difference to get you over that final line. I've left you a couple of videos at the end. If you click one of them, that could be the difference in getting those final couple of marks to get you that 50 plus that you deserve. Well, as ever, on that bombshell, I'll see you next time. Cheers.